Yes, Michael. The answer to your question is yes. There is some Tron stuff. I don't know if you know, but hello. I get ahead of myself. Cheers.
Cheers. What are we drinking to?
I don't know, but I actually do have a glass of whiskey with me today. It's summer.
I'm holding a Pliny the Elder.
Oh, right on. I have
90%
if we're being
empty.
specific, it's empty?
No, 90% empty.
Well, 10% is not going to last you an hour.
I suffer for my art.
We opened a Garrison Brothers bourbon tonight. I saw a very funny video, and JJ, you admonished me for sending silly videos, so I didn't send it. But it was a gentleman that was saying that it's summertime and you shouldn't stop drinking during the summer. Screw your diet. Enjoy your summer. And then a person turned that into like a techno dance beat song.
All right.
Yeah. But it's to me, I laughed, and then I thought I should send this, and then I said, "Oh, JJ says I shouldn't send stuff like this." So. Jared Leto.
Wait, why are we talking about him now?
Jared Leto. That's my transition. Michael, you asked about Tron before we started this because I said something about Tron, but Jared Leto's the real story here. He's gonna ruin or maybe not ruin my life in the next year.
Again, still attempting to understand how these things are related.
Between two films, he's going to be starring in both of them, and they're both films I want to like. Masters of the Universe is getting a new movie, live action.
Oh, really?
It is. It 100%. It's greenlit. It's ready to go. They've already cast Skeletor, you guys.
It's Jared Leto?
It's Jared Leto.
Huh.
Yeah, is right. And more than that, Michael, at the end of this year is the new Tron movie. I didn't know if you know that.
Yes, that I did know.
9 Inch Nails doing the music. Jeff Bridges is back. Gillian Anderson's in it. I mean, we're talking about what's her name? From Russian Doll. Greta Lee. Yeah, that's her name. Greta Lee. But guess who's the lead in that movie?
Somehow also
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto?
I don't know, dude. Yeah. We put in a whole storyline in the second movie about Cillian Murphy, but instead of getting an actor like Cillian Murphy to come back, we got Jared Leto.
But he's not playing the character from the second movie. By the way, that second movie, underrated. I think Tron Legacy is good. I'll defend it.
100%.
I agree with you.
I agree.
I very much enjoyed that.
This is the trifecta of agreement. All hands in. Cheers to Tron Legacy.
I think that movie didn't do very well, but it has like a
did well enough
banger.
To make a third one.
Well, 15 years later, is that really? Or are they rebooting it?
Well, look, I think they've made a huge mistake. One, I think they've made 3 huge mistakes. One, Jared Leto.
Okay. Is he also mistakes 2 and 3?
No. 2
mistake
is
1,
no
Jared,
Daft Punk.
Mistake 2, Leto. Mistake 3.
2 Jared, 2 Leto.
You're going to hate number 2. It might be number 1 for JJ.
I know this already because you mentioned that 9 Inch Nails is doing the soundtrack, which
9 Inch Nails
I'm
is
not
doing
against
the soundtrack.
9 Inch Nails. They've done good music. Like I've been, Trent Reznor has done scores for stuff that I've liked before too. But that Daft Punk soundtrack to Tron Legacy is all time. Like one of the greatest.
So good.
It's almost perfect, that soundtrack. And Trent Reznor 100% is a qualified and excellent composer. He did a Ken Burns documentary that I loved. I think he did Social Network, which is we've had our own differences about Social Network, but it had good music.
Social Network is a movie that lots of people liked, and I think if they saw it again, they would like it a lot less.
Yeah. Again, sometimes movies are good because the music's good. I got to tell you, like, a lot of times movies get high praise, and really the thing that's good is the music. Because music really holds a movie together a lot. And I'm sure it'll be...
I have the greatest example of this ever. I really like The Last Samurai. That movie is not very good, but the
Zimmer
rules.
Hans Zimmer decided that he was going to take the entire Hollywood industry of music making on his back at that moment in time and say, this soundtrack is going to incorporate all of Japan and all of Hollywood, and it's going to make Tom Cruise look like the most badass warrior that's ever lived.
And it is still that movie, unfortunately.
It succeeds.
I don't know how, but like that soundtrack is 50 or 60 times better than what ended up on the screen. I can hear it. Just talking about it, I can hear.
There's like 3 tracks that I really, really like. And like the rest of them are also very good. But it was one of those ones where I would put it on as like studying music and stuff when I was in college.
You should get on a podcast with, I should get Kit, you, me, and I should get a friend of the pod, Rob, on here. And we should just do soundtracks, because Hans Zimmer is both my general epitome of a great composer. Like he holds so many movies together. And at the same time, my absolute nemesis.
He's up and down, man. Some of the stuff isn't as good, you know? It's like you get Hans Zimmer, the like absolute maestro, and then you get Hans Zimmer, the jobber. You know?
I feel like you don't even know what I'm going to say here.
Paycheck.
I'm gonna throw some information at you that most people don't know. Hans Zimmer has full control over what they release as the soundtrack to the film. And he often holds back pieces of music from those releases. And 10 times out of 9, it is my favorite piece in the whole movie.
He just doesn't include it because he doesn't want it out there.
He shortens it. He shortens the piece from the movie into a track, or splits it among other tracks, or does all sorts of shenanigans to not include the whole piece. Example from The Last Samurai, the charge at the end of that movie is a 6-piece minute of film. The song is 2.5 minutes. The track is 2.5 minutes. So he cut 3.5 minutes of music for no reason. Hans Zimmer does this on almost every single soundtrack release. And the one that broke me was Interstellar.
Also a great soundtrack, by the way.
Another contender for the movie's good, but the soundtrack's better.
Yeah.
He has that there's that scene where they're trying to dock between the 2 spacecraft, and it's like impossible.
Mm-hmm.
That track is like 12 minutes long. Or should be. It's like 1.5 minutes on the soundtrack.
You can just put the movie on like, what's the reverse of on mute?
I felt like he makes, like, why make a soundtrack for people that aren't your fans, man? Put the freaking track on there. We already know what the good song is. Stop holding it back. It's literally every time the best one. Nah, I'm going to shorten it. You, me, Kit, and Rob would go for hours on this, I'm sure. We didn't even get past number 2. 9 Inch Nails is number 2, and it's not even a good number 2 because 9 Inch Nails will make good music.
Yeah, I think it's like I need to see it, right? Because it might still be really good. We just don't know yet.
Did Trent Reznor do that Doom movie? I don't know.
He has been involved with some Doom music before, yeah.
Anyway. Look, number 3 is not even that important at this point. But none of the returning cast other than Jeff Bridges is a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the story of that second movie kind of wrapped up when he and the girl escaped. Although, like, are they just going to ignore
the girl?
Yeah, are they just going to? Yeah.
Like,
I know. But like, are they just going to ignore that whole plot line with her and just be like, sweep that under the rugs? And some things happened anyway. Moving on. Jeff Bridges is here. Hello.
I just don't get it. It's like Garrett Hedlund's a good actor. Olivia Wilde, good actor. Cillian Murphy, good actor. You nailed it on Tron Legacy, whether or not people thought it was a good movie at the time. Like, it was Matrix-esque as it should have been. The music was perfect. Just chill, man. Just make a sequel, like a real one. Anyway, that's how Jared Leto's gonna ruin my life.
Corbin time.
Yes, Michael. Exactly. Okay. Well, if we're not hype for this, we should talk about something that is hype, or maybe not hype, or hype but not hype. I can't tell. JJ, should I be hype for Magic? I know we said we weren't going to talk about Magic anymore, but they're releasing a new set in like 2 weeks.
I mean, they would want you to be hyped for it because that's their whole thing is like, constant hype, release new set, need to blah, blah, blah. The only good thing that's happening here is Standard is rotating. So a bunch of sets that are legal are going to go out of legality, and, we're going to bring in some new sets. So that'll like shake things up a little bit. Question mark if that's going to make any difference, There's definitely some cool cards they've shown, but again, how big an impact any of those are going to make on, 60 card constructed formats is TBD.
The cards look good. The cards look fun. They look unique. They look mechanically new. I think that's my hype level for it, is like after coming off Final Fantasy where everyone was like, oh, this is a cool theme, them to not fumble it and to have an interesting set next for me.
Yeah.
Or it's like, hey, this new station mechanic of like, not only do you have to wait with this thing on the board and keep it alive, but you also have to like power it up before it's powerful, is a kind of a new idea for Magic.
Yeah, it's a interesting one because, it's not a creature until it hits the threshold. So it kind of just sits around and you're just like tapping your creatures for nothing, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of lame because then they could just blow it up with a spell that blows up an artifact and then you're posed, right?
Right.
So, it'll be interesting. I think the limited format looks like it'll have some interesting stuff with all the warp mechanics, because you warp something in, it stays for a turn, then it leaves, and then you can cast it again later. So, there'll be a lot of interesting stuff with that, triggering those mechanics that, like, trigger off something leaving, including warp, right? So,
yeah.
That stuff looks like it could be pretty fun. I wonder if it means it'll be a fast format, which then means that kind of plays against a lot of that station stuff. But
well,
hard to know.
Warp won't play into graveyard mechanics because they get exiled. So
it exiles, yeah.
I don't know. I can't tell where I should land on this. Right? Like I like Magic as it is, kind of. I don't want to fall into the trap of like consumerism and hype, but it seems cool. So like I don't know where to land on not talking about it too much and not feeling like everything's the coolest. but also supporting them trying new things and new mechanics and seemingly making a cool new thing. It just seems like maybe Tron is underhyped and oh, dude, we didn't even talk about Tron is underhyped. They remastered the original Tron and like barely told anybody.
Wait, the movie?
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
How do you
That
mean
was the whole point.
remastered?
They remastered the whole thing. 4K
How do you mean?
remaster.
They put out a 4K version.
No, they had Dolby go through and go back to the film footage and remaster the whole movie.
So did they fix all the special effects for 4K also? Like, is
Yes.
it new special effects or is it the same
no.
ones, but they like
It's the same
up-resed
special
them?
effects, but they rematted the whole film. So like, that flicker that was happening?
Oh yeah, okay.
The flicker is completely gone.
Oh, interesting.
The flat colors that happened. You know how the bodysuits had like lights in them? They were the first. You know how like special effects now they have like LEDs in all the suits and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
They built lights into those suits. You can't even see them because of the matting that happened in that movie to make the special effects. They just look like they're in white bodysuits. There's like lights that run through those suits you can't see.
Interesting. So so this is out now? Like I could go watch it?
I don't know when it's out. There was the last story that came out on it was in like January of this year about the 4K remaster getting done.
Okay, so maybe it's coming.
So they're coinciding the releases with the new one.
How is that not getting hyped? That was part of my point about talking about Tron and how they're screwing it all up. And I screwed it up because I can barely remember they're doing it.
Well, I would argue that is screwing it up because that's like burying the lead, man. Original Tron remastered
that
for 4K
news.
is like sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, original Tron completely back to the film remastered for 4K. What are they doing? And then the news is Jared Leto. I'm like, what's happening here? So where do we get off the train of hype cycles and where do we find the good news between Tron and Magic? JJ, what's the theory? Michael, what's the theory? Where do you find your balance in hype? I need to find more balance in hype. I got to get unindoctrinated.
I don't know, but I can give you some more hype that maybe wasn't. If you want to hear another story,
Absolutely. Maybe it'll help. Maybe it'll help us make a theory.
Yeah, it's this one. This one was kind of the opposite to me. So jumping into COTC, we are
champions of the continent.
Champions of the continent. We haven't talked about it in a bit. Because you guys you light cycled your way to an off ramp. But
Nice.
so we're coming up on the next collab. They've been dropping, pretty regularly. Every 3 months, they do a collaboration with a different Square property. And so the last one was the second Bravely Default collaboration, which people were pretty excited about. It went well, and in the wake of that, they released an updated roadmap. Showing the next couple of months of where the game was going. And there was a big question mark banner over July on the roadmap that had crossover event. And so everyone just kind of, the whole community, I think, sort of took it as written that we would be following the JP schedule. And then the next collab would be the second Nier collab. So it would put out Nier, it would put out Kaine, and it would put out Emil. And Kaine would be kind of the game-breaking character that they remain in the JP server even today.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
I think that most people don't need to have this iterated and understood why the changes to Twitter being chronological were asinine, stupid, and above board just dumb. But I go to try and find what you're talking about because, oh, cool, I want to follow along with what Michael's saying. No way I could possibly ever find it because Twitter doesn't go in order anymore.
Yeah, it's that
I'm finding
bothers me.
posts from 2022, 2022, 2024, 2023, April of this year. Just so dumb. So I can't even follow along with what you're saying about finding a roadmap because it doesn't go in order and they don't post anywhere else.
You have to go on the following page. The following page is still in order, but even then, it's still very hard. Very
I
hard.
then have to like sign in and then find them and then.
Yeah, I didn't say it was easy. I'm just saying there is an option for it, but it's bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go to Blue Sky, everybody.
There you go.
Or just
if
post
you're curious
everything everywhere. Like, that's the real one.
If you want to see the roadmap, Andy, it's in the thread pinned at the top of the Reddit page.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That's where I always go to find it because
Reddit to the rescue.
Exactly.
Because you got to rely on your community to hold you up, I guess, if you can only post to Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm sure
so
they
they had
would
a
tell you
question.
they want you on the Discord, right? Like, they don't care about searchability at all. They just want everyone on the Discord where they can.
Yeah. Although even that is funny because everyone is on the unofficial Discord. The whole of the global community that is still engaged is pretty much on the unofficial Discord, and
You mean
mostly
the one that has gone
pokes
through
fun
like
at the official
3 owners?
Discord. Yes, that one. But so it's actually that community, the unofficial Discord community, is the one that surprised me with the turn of events that things have taken. So, the half anniversary event is just wrapping up now. It dropped a couple of weeks ago, and so everybody is turning their attention to next week when this Nier collab was expected to drop until Thursday, I think it was, of last week. Some news came out of the Korean server, which, due to the change of ownership, is now one of the servers that is aligned with the global server, that no, it is not going to be the Nier collab. They are, in fact, jumping over it and doing the Final Fantasy IV collab instead.
Did that make people upset or happy because
And
they
so
like Final Fantasy more than Nier?
This is what surprised me, is that the response from a majority of the community was just, NetEase is doing NetEase things again, and just sort of rolled with it, which never would have happened when Square was running things. You guys remember how crazy the community got over the whole end of service stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, when they were just missing all sorts of dates and skipping things, people were pissed.
Yeah.
My
People, I think, go ahead, JJ.
I was going to say my only guess on that is that it's like, well, it's a different highly anticipated collab, right? And so people are like, okay, well, I guess, instead of apple pie, it's cherry pie.
Sure. And I think one thing, a couple of things that help. One, because we're just coming out of half anniversary, it gives people 3 more months to save for the bigger of the two. And two, the general consensus from the JP community on the FF4 collab is that the best character from it is the one that they give you for free.
Holy cow. All right, so they're just pausing and giving people a break. So that's your answer right there, is that most people are like, okay, we get more time before the better one.
I think that is keeping a lot of people from grabbing the torch and pitchfork.
Mitigating circumstances.
Yeah, but it was a very interesting juxtaposition to me with, the last big thing having been end of service, that this one, barely made a ripple and everyone just sort of moved along onto the next thing.
I wonder too, from a the Discord obviously is all the really engaged people, right? Who are the non-engaged people? Are they going to be like, what the heck is Nier? And a bunch of them are going to be like, heck yeah, Final Fantasy.
Are there
I'm non-engaged sure people? I guess I don't know. That's a separate question.
Yeah,
also.
I mean, you can compare it a little bit with the Reddit. The Reddit community, I think, is what was left in the aftermath of everybody abandoning ship at the looming end of service, and the people who are left are a lot of newer people, I think, who are
Really?
maybe more casual about the game.
Did they have a lot of jump-ins when kind of JJ and I fell off?
There was a good number of jump-ins. I feel like every time something big happens, I feel like I see a good wave of jump-ins. There were a whole lot of people who joined. I know there were a whole lot of people who joined the Discord when the half anniversary celebration came around. Just because it was a good, they were giving out a whole bunch of free stuff, and it was a good time for people who had been eyeing it to start playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like there's a fair number of people who kind of just sort of lurk on the Reddit and make a comment or a question here or there. But I feel like a lot of the commentary that I see, at least in like the main thread that's pinned on the Reddit, is, "Hi, new player here. I was just wondering," and then they ask their question.
Well, I guess
that's
it's
your
good
answer.
that that's still happening, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, there were things lost when the big exodus happened, but I think it kind of left room for a refresh of the community. It's not always a bad thing.
Interesting to me that it's Final Fantasy IV and not Final Fantasy IX.
So you have to remember when this came out, the original collaboration happened in JP at this point a year and a half ago or something, Michael? More?
Uh-huh.
It was February of last year, yes.
Yeah.
So almost a year and a half ago.
So that doesn't line up with the release of Final Fantasy IV, but I think Final Fantasy IV is way more popular over there.
You're ruining my transition to talk about Final Fantasy IX.
That's what JJ does.
He
drinks and he drinks and he ruins your transitions.
Oh man. I think that given the 25th anniversary, that a lot of people feel like was under-celebrated. I assume because the game didn't sell well. I probably will end up trying it after I finish my assignment games.
Have you played 9 before?
I was a 7-ish, 8 for sure fan, and 9 seemed like kiddie game to me.
It was going too much backwards for your taste.
Well, I didn't have a huge amount of experience. I played 6 a tiny bit, so I didn't have a huge lot of experience at that time in my life, and so I thought 9 was not exactly for me. It wasn't adult enough.
That's so interesting. I think the direction of the story certainly is not as adult as 8 and 9 or 8 and 7 tried to be. But I definitely think that, like, for old people like, oh, it's backwards or whatever, the battle system and stuff was pretty different from anything in those other games. Like, yeah, I guess it was closer to some of the old games like 4 and 6, but
yeah, it wasn't
really
about the
like
game.
those either.
The whole trance system made it its own thing for sure.
Yeah,
100%. I need to replay it now that it's had 25 years or whatever. But I need to replay it for those things because at that point in my life, it was about characters and character design, and 8 had gun blades, and 7 had soldiers and machine guns, and then 9 came along and was like, what is this cutesy red maid? Like Vivi to me, and the kid with a tail running around, and the art style were like, oh, well, I can't play this. This is for kids.
Yeah. I think that having started in with 7 and 8, you kind of missed the earlier games and being a member of the target audience that they were going for with 9. 9 to me always struck me as a game that was like, we're going to take this game and make it an homage to some of the earlier ones, but still kind of do something fresh and different with it, even within that context. But you needed the context of the earlier games to really have it land for you.
Yeah, 100%. That's like exactly how 9 felt. It's like, remember those old games that you also liked? We kind of moved away from those. What if we did those, but look at the new style, right? Like, you're like, oh, wow, it's cool. It's like, the highest budget version of Final Fantasy VI I've ever seen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The one memory, and maybe Michael can disabuse me of this notion, I just remember so much grinding required in that game.
There was a lot of grinding in that game. Some of it was the way that they implemented the skill system. Some of it was some of the mini games. Jump roping comes to mind and will forever be seared in my memory.
Not as bad as then what they did with the lightning in Final Fantasy X. So
this is very true. This is very true. That lightning dodging was on the same level and worse.
But certainly it's the skill system, right? Where you have to like equip an item and you have to like win a certain number of points in battle in order to learn the skill off the item. That just like leads you to having to grind so much to learn all the skills. Even if you don't care about them, you're like, well, what if I want like shell? I need to play like 50 battles to learn shell, but like, you know, or I have to keep this like one piece of crappy like armband equipped for like 80% of the game. And meanwhile, every new town you go to still has new stuff with new skills you also won't be able to learn.
Andy, it was kind of like the materia system, except it wouldn't there wasn't a way for you to swap in and out into slots on weapons. So you would buy armor or weapons or accessories, and they would have a skill tied to them, and you had to leave it equipped to get enough points to learn it, at which point you could then unequip it. But unless you were going to grind, it took forever because those points only dropped like in ones and twos, and you needed anywhere from, it wasn't a fixed amount either. That was part of the problem. Some of them were like you needed 75 points, but there were some that were up to like 150 points to learn.
Oh yeah, you want to learn Ice 3? Welcome to hell, my friend.
And it has, and then they complicated that even further by saying, okay, you have a certain number of tokens based on your level, and you can use those tokens to equip certain skills out of the tree, right? So you have to, and each skill costs a certain number of tokens. So you have to pick and choose what you're equipping. You can't just learn something and say, okay, I have all the skills learned now. You then also had to, even when they're learned, you had to go back and say, okay, I want anti-poison for this fight. I want auto life for this fight. I want auto shell for that fight.
And memory is that like some of those skills cost an absurd number of those tokens. So it's like,
yes, they did.
You can take this and like one spell. And it's like, okay, so I get like the auto shell ability, which protects me against their horrible magic attacks. Great. The only other ability I have is like an upgraded attack because I can't afford anything else. It was wild, man. Of course, you know, you can grind a whole bunch more and then get more levels and get very few slightly more tokens. It won't like, you know, fix the problem. But wow, it was a crazy system. You know, so it was like they were balancing along two different axes at the same time. You know, oh, we need this skill to take forever to learn so that you can't have too many skills at the same time. And then we're also going to prevent you from having too many skills at the same time. Like over here, you're like, you didn't need to, man.
Pick one. Come on, guys. You don't need to limit me in both directions.
Yeah. I do understand where you're coming from, Andy, when you're talking about the story. The story was definitely a step back into the more like young adult fiction kind of world where the hero goes on a journey and finds a princess and she's running away from her parents and all this kind of stuff that's going on, right?
All the tropes.
I just don't think it's as bad these days as I would have thought it was those days. You know what I mean?
Probably not. Yeah, you would probably appreciate it now for sure. And I think the thing you would really appreciate, apparently, is in the remaster. You can turn on abilities that just let you auto-learn those things. You, like, equip it, and you just learn the skill.
Ding! Yes.
I heard
Quality
that.
of life.
Yeah. I heard that's why you should install that little mod and play it on the Steam Deck. So I'm interested in that.
I don't think the mod even does that. I think that's just in the base version of the remaster.
In the remaster? Okay,
it is. And I've played the first hour or so of the remaster. I tried it when it first came out. And they definitely are fun to play with, those additions, the toggles. where you can basically put yourself at, one of them puts you at in auto trance, one of them puts you at max level. One of them, I think, turns off encounters entirely, so you can just run through the game.
Would that help you? I feel like you'd be not able to finish the game.
So you'd have to leave some of them on.
Yeah.
There definitely is an element, but that game again also has the element of random battles, right? So it definitely could be the case where you're like, okay, I've leveled up more than enough in this dungeon. Can I just stop and like get to the boss now?
Right, yeah.
That's where that would be useful for sure.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Or if you just want to, if you're a returning player and you just want to run through and remind yourself of the story,
Yeah,
hit all the beats.
Slap it on easy, and
I feel like we're in RPG territory, and JJ should keep it going with Expedition 33.
you guys, this game is so good. Why? I was about to say, why aren't more people talking about Expedition 33? But
I think a lot of people are talking about it.
I think a lot of people are talking about it.
I agree.
Claire Obscure Expedition 33. No E, Clair. I don't know why I said that, but anyway, that is a. I'm just loving this game, you guys. It's one of those games where you're like, this is in this game too, you know. Every time you do a thing, and it's like, oh, there's an overworld in this game. Oh, okay. Like, you know, oh, this game has like an airship equivalent. Oh, okay. Like,
Keep peeling back layers of that onion.
yeah. Oh, the airship gains new abilities as you go along. Oh, okay. Like, it's just, again, you're learning, and the game is going. You know, I said, I don't remember. I got into Act 2. I think at the end, near when the last episode went up.
Yeah.
Stuff is happening for sure. The story, I'm still interested in the story. There's like a lot of side stuff now where I've like gone to islands and places where clearly it's like, yeah, you're allowed to be here. Should you be here though? And it's like,
That is a very standard for RPGs, I feel like, where they level limit you.
so the really interesting thing about Expedition 33 is if you're good, like this game has that like parry and dodge system with the attacks, right? I talked about last time.
Yes.
If you're just good, you never take damage, right? You're completely invincible if you're just really good.
So you can go wherever you want. It doesn't really matter how far ahead of you they are.
Now,
you're not taking damage.
it might take you 1,000,000 years to kill them because they have 10 million hit points and you can only do damage in increments of 9,999 even at your best, right? But you could, you know, if you want to be there for an
theory, turtle strats.
hour. So you got to imagine there's some kind of like, you know, break the barrier thing that exists somewhere so that you can not live like this. But yeah, it's really cool. Like I said, the story is really interesting. I just can't, you know, it has some of that flavor that some of those old Final Fantasy games have. Final Fantasy IX has a good bit of this, where like each character kind of does their own thing that's separate from the other characters, you know?
Okay, yeah.
And because their battle systems are all so different, you're really always like, okay, this person, I'm managing their like elemental points, and this person, I'm managing the stances, and they're like between defense and offense, and then like 200% damage virtue stance. And this guy, I'm managing his like ranks of power up to S, and when he gets hit, it goes down. And this other person, then I want to make sure I'm casting lightning so that it combos with his thing, and then that sets up her thing. And it's, you know, they're all trying to figure out ways to play everyone off of everyone else so that you just like maximize your, you know, turns. And then meanwhile, like, you know, the enemy is hitting you for 80,000 damage with a giant sea anchor or whatever.
You'll get there.
Eventually, right? Or the enemy is hitting you for no damage whatsoever if you parry or jump or whatever, right?
True.
So it's, I'm really, really enjoying it. You know, I want to play more, but again, it's one of those where like, as I was telling you guys last week, it's like, it's turn-based. So when it's your turn, you can walk away, right? Nothing's going to happen. But when it's their turn, you have to be locked in because you need to be ready to hit the button. The tip I can give people for learning the dodges and the parries is sound cues. Almost all of the attacks have a sound cue. Yeah, they have an animation too, and you can go off that sometimes, but I found some of the animations a little misleading, and the sounds are not as misleading. So that's my hot tip.
One of those.
It's your parappa training.
Yeah, I just got to believe that I won't get hit by this spell.
I feel like I'm going to play that game eventually, but not yet. And another game I feel like I'm going to play eventually, but not yet. But I think all of us might play eventually, but not yet. Blueprints.
So I want to know, did you guys also wishlist this in the wake of seeing the run, or was it already on your list?
While watching it.
While watching it, yes.
I believe I had it wish listed before, and then after you guys clued me into the run, I was like, okay, this is a very interesting way to play this game, which is not at all like what I thought of this game.
Okay, so I want to interrupt real quick and spell it because I didn't get it at first. Blue, BLUE, space, Prince, PRINCE, right?
Yes, the homophone.
But the homophone is blueprint. Blueprints with PRINTS, because the game is a lot of things, but it also deals with the setup of a home and the blueprint of a home. But the game is way more than that, and I didn't want to interrupt, but I thought we should just say that up front. Blueprint.
Yeah, specifically, it's a roguelike deck builder, you guys.
Yeah, sure it is.
What if
I'm not
Myst
joking.
were a roguelike deck builder? Yeah.
I'm not joking. It is actually.
I know that it is, but it's also Myst and Hotel Dusk and
yeah, the puzzles run very deep, and you guys didn't even see some of the. I mean, hopefully you weren't watching too intently because that stream showed off a bunch of the answers. But I think when you encounter them holistically, you probably won't remember what the heck they were doing.
They were going so fast too.
Yeah. Or you can learn the speed strat and clip out of bounds.
I haven't watched the follow up yet.
It was very funny.
I know that's what they do.
The follow up, they clip out of bounds. It's very funny. Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
I will say I don't think I ever could have thought a puzzle game race would be as interesting of a way to like do that in the GDQ setting, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've definitely seen these like bingo boards before. Streamers that I've watched have done Elden Ring bingo,
mm-hmm.
which has like a similar situation, right? Where they set up this board. I don't know how the hell they set the board up, and then it's like, kill this boss, and then you check off the square, and then the other person's like, dang it, I was on my way to kill that guy. Now we all have to like run around and do something else, right?
Yeah.
And so like that format I understand, but I don't know how you come up with it in this one, right? Because it looks like both players can accomplish every goal or something.
So in this one, what you're talking about, JJ, is what I think I've seen more of, which is an exclusion bingo, right? It's the first person to get the square owns that, and the other person can't do it. This one is bingo in the sense that every square has a task, but the point wasn't to collect more squares than the other person. The point was to get from the starting square all the way up to the square 9 rows above it. And each row was a different rank of difficulty in terms of objectives. So both players could have the same square as part of their path. They just had to get from the bottom to the top.
Interesting.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily collaborative, right? Like they didn't both need to do it, but it wasn't exclusionary, right? It wasn't lockout.
Right, which I think would have been too difficult in a game that is so randomized.
Yeah, there were definitely moments where it was like yeah, I don't know how you could even control when you get, like, one of the things that would have made the blue player go way faster is if he could draft the East Hall and the West Hall. And other than like just running through to try and draft the East Hall and the West Hall and keep resetting and resetting and resetting and losing time, I don't know how he could have done it, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I guess that's a way to also prevent like the GG, I blocked you from being able to get through game over without actually reaching the goal, you know?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And I guess the guy that designed it also designed it to be progressive in a certain way, where it was like if you picked a line, you would kind of work your way up that line in theory, but then you might not draft the things you need. So too bad.
Well, I sort of started to understand that was part of the game mechanic, right? Like the stuff at the bottom of the bingo board are things that are more easily achieved with the earlier rooms that you get blueprints for. And as you are able to add more rooms to your board because you unlock them through playing, it progresses you up through the higher ranked achievements.
I think the more insane thing for people like us that love drafting games, right? We do card drafting games all the time. All of us have played them. Is the Bible the guy had for shifting rarities. I don't know if you heard about this part of it while they were playing, but like, oh,
I
you
saw the
drafted that.
paper.
Okay. Well, you drafted this room. So these other 4 rooms move from rare to uncommon, and this room moves from uncommon to common, and this room moves from this to that. It's like
Yeah, I did catch some of that.
the spidering tree of what rooms are connected and what rarity they become when you connect them. You know, and how one of the guys was fighting for his life to try and get all the red rooms and was doing everything right to make them lower rarity, and then they still wouldn't show up. And very, very interesting.
Yeah, I think.
it's super.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say a super fascinating way. I think the way you put it, JJ, was to gamify a game that is meant to be slow and thought provoking into one that is kind of breakneck paced.
Yeah, and that sheet of like what rooms go up and down, you can totally see the like hand of the game designer there, right? For the person who's normally playing this and just trying to get to the end, the game designer's like, okay, well, you're likely to get these ones, so when you do that, I'm going to make it easier to get these other ones. And so then that way, after you play a few runs, you'll probably have seen all these, you know. And then like now the people are like taking that and exploiting it to make some other weird meta game out of that game. You know, it's like a very, meta way to play a game like this.
Yeah, I think honestly,
the things I've
like,
heard about the game though, like that makes me so interested, is that I've heard people say you could spend 100 hours playing this game.
Oh, I would
That's
absolutely believe it.
100%. What I took away from it is this is a wonderful solo experience. And then I also thought about what I was watching on that screen, and I thought watching this solo would be kind of like a slightly interesting, but watching 2 people like doing a whole bunch of stuff from memory while manipulating the game and then having a guy talk you through it was way, way more interesting. Like this seems like the only format that you would want to watch this game in.
More than once, yeah.
Yeah, even once, I think, because I don't think if you're going to watch a person, like, unless you're going to watch a let's play of the game where a person is going through the motions of thinking about it or whatever, I feel like that's going to get really frustrating when you figure out the puzzle before the person, right? And then you're just like annoyed the entire time while they're not stumbling around, not figuring the thing out.
Or you're going to watch a version of this where they beat it in 5 minutes by clipping out of bounds, or
exactly.
Two, the other option is they explain to you the speedrun strat of exactly the fastest way to finish this game by drafting exactly these things, and it's like a guide almost to how to beat the game.
Yeah,
and there's
like
really almost no interesting way.
You know, like a random number fest. Well, you get this, and then you can get that, and then this and that, and then here you go, you win, right? And like that's just not what the intent of the game is.
Right.
So I think in terms of a way to make the game watchable, I don't know what else you could do except do something different than what the game asks. So it's interesting
100%.
they found something.
It took it took some of the aspects of watching people play like Ocarina of Time randomizer race, right? Where people are playing bingo on Ocarina of Time randomizer. This game already does the randomizer for you.
Right.
You're just playing a race or a bingo or whatever, right? Like
All you need is the card. You're going to be going through just by virtue of trying to get from one end to the other, you're going to be going through a bunch of these checks anyway.
very, very smart. And I don't know if you guys watched the very beginning, but it's almost like the people in charge of this game kind of gave it that little bit of extra thought of like, what if people play this multiple times? And what makes it interesting for them? They said that it took them a while, and they only discovered like a week ago that if you go open the first 3 doors right away within like 3 minutes of each other, the game changes how it plays itself, expecting you to be a veteran of the game and wanting to do a speed run.
That's wild. Yeah, I missed that.
It changes a bunch of rarities and luck percentages, like drop percentages, for you to do speed runs if you open the first 3 doors all basically together. That's crazy and smart, and really digs into like having to have people with, like he showed you, that blue book of spreadsheet in order to do something as fun as put on a show for a thing. And I really think the GDQ has expanded in the last year. We're talking about Games Done Quick. This was happening during the Games Done Quick stream. And GDQ expanding its view of like the game space in general has really benefited things like this showing up. Instead of just like, look, we beat this in 60 minutes or whatever. This 50-hour game got beat in 40 minutes. Those are fun and exciting, and glitches are cool to watch, but this is the expansion of that and the keeping people engaged of that.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah, I think I hope that they have learned that, the races are fun because it gives you the viewers an element of something to watch that isn't the game,
Mm-hmm.
And this has that too, wherein, okay, well now I, the viewer, am interested in like not the game that they're playing, but the game that they're playing with the game,
Mm-hmm.
and it gives you, okay, well, so how can this guy win, in a way that I can see, oh, he has like 4 blue dots in a row. He just needs to get over 2 and up or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah. I had a really great time watching it. As much of a great time as I had watching that F1 race, JJ.
Hulkin podium.
We got Hulkin podium before GTA 6.
I can't believe that that's a real comment someone made.
I don't like a lot of things on Blue Sky, but I definitely thumbs up that one.
I heard, Andy, speaking of Reddit, that if you go to the Formula One subreddit and you comment on a specific post, you can get a flare that says, I was here for the Hulkin podium only for the next like 20-something hours. So by the time this goes out, it will be too late. And then apparently they said, if you ever change your flare ever again, you can't get it back.
Oh man, I gotta go do it.
I just thought it was hilarious.
Michael Hulkenberg is a driver, and he's been in F1 for
239 race starts before he got 1 podium finish.
third place. And doesn't have a contract for next year.
The second place guy, 112 or something like that. It's 100 and something.
Yeah.
So this man has been around double the number of races as the next closest person in it. Wild.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Wet races, man. Wet races are always exciting and interesting, except that it still ends up with McLaren 1-2. It's amazing. I don't understand it.
Bernie Eccleston was onto something when he said we should put sprinklers at every track. That guy wasn't good generally, but he had one good idea, and I guess that was it.
Yeah. I think it proves that McLaren just has the best car, like by a mile.
Yeah, and I think if if anyone had a doubt of that, it was proved here, right? Where like in a race where it looked like anything could happen, right?
Yeah.
Like friggin' Hulkenberg got third.
Everything was happening.
Stroll
Everything was happening.
Fourth for a large portion of the race.
Dude,
Stroll.
I called that he was going to choke it. I called it in lap 20. I was like, he's third place? No, he's going to, or fourth place, he's going to choke it. Or he's going to crash somebody out. And he almost did both.
Standard Stroll things.
Standard Stroll. Pierre Gasly with an Alpine that has not performed above like 12th the whole time is in 6th.
So in a race where anything could happen, 1-2 is McLaren, and it wasn't really close. So, you're 100% right. Their car is just better.
Yeah. Well, Verstappen working his way back from like being in first, losing the spots to the better car very clearly, and nothing he can do about it, as best as he could try, in bad tires, and then working his way back from spinning his car out. I think he was in like 15th place at one point.
Yeah, so under the safety car, right? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about a different time?
I think he spun out after the safety car, yeah. When Piastri brake checked him.
Yeah, so
Piastri, because he got the 10-second penalty.
Right, so he got those places back because they're not allowed to pass under the safety car, right? So like that was okay, but like when he spun after that, like like you could see he got back to, where he was even after that spin, right? Like almost all the way back to P6 or 7 or something.
Yeah.
Which from the back of the field, just like proving Max is just better than most people again, right?
I put him in the best car and you have no chance. Put him in an undrivable car and he's still in 5th place.
Right. It's like put anyone else in that car and they're last and it's not close.
They're in DNF, right?
Tsunoda finished a lap down. He did finish,
15,
but he was last. He was last.
He was the only last DNF, and he was the only back marker.
Yeah, it was wild.
What are they gonna do, man? They got to drop that guy. I mean, Tsunoda has. It's
not Tsunoda's
I feel
fault,
bad
dude.
for
the car is undrivable.
Oh, I feel bad for the Japanese fans, but he's just not.
That's what they said about Lawson. That's what they said about Perez. Like, I think it just is proven that car is undrivable unless your name is Verstappen. So, like, who cares who you put in there? Leave him in there. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay. Like, that's my opinion. Like, they should.
I don't know.
They should fix
put him in
car.
a Williams and see where. Put him in a Williams and see if he can drive better than Sainz. Right? Like, that's the test. Because Alex Albon is putting a Williams ahead of Sainz at this point.
Yeah, it would be interesting, Like I said, I think, I guess regardless of what happens, the order is going to shake up big time next year because the rules change, and so it's God knows who's going to be any good next year.
Yeah, so whoever's courting Verstappen has to be proven they've got an amazing car for next year, basically.
Yeah, it's like, trust us, bro. We'll be good. We can't show you anything though. Like,
wink, wink.
Yeah. Well, here's to next week and next season, right?
Yeah.
And until then,
despite all the complaining we just did, though, like that race was entertaining.
Oh, it was.
McLaren were 1-2, but the race was fun. So
they weren't 1-2 the whole time either. They weren't 1-2 the whole time, and for a while there, when Piastri had the penalty, it was kind of like, well, can he get far enough ahead? And Stroll was still in 4th at that point, and. Just like when Max was running
safety cars, was someone going to crash and ruin it all, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, we had plenty of seasons of Verstappen's in the Red Bull, and it's the fastest car, and so you're talking about 3rd place through 5th place. It's similar, right? Like these guys are good drivers. I don't doubt Piastri and Norris are wonderfully good drivers. They'd be just as good in a Mercedes probably. But the McLaren car is clearly the best. So you just start talking about like, well, Max literally had spun out his car. It's like talking about the seasons when he was starting in the back of the field and still won the race. You get to talk about the other stuff, and those things are still exciting. A whole race in the rain, when they keep talking about like, oh, it's gonna let up. I honestly think George lost his seat this race, 100%. Like that's something to talk about. Is like George Russell probably just lost his seat in this race.
If that's real and they're going to try and sign Max, right? Like, the other thing is that could all just be smoke and like Toto's playing up. Oh yeah, we're definitely going after Max. George, you should sign for less money, bro. Like, you don't know, right? It could be a negotiating thing. The other thing, there's a really great article on racefans.net. I want to point out, Hulkenberg overrules the pit box, calling him in to pit in the early parts of the race multiple times, leading to the finish that he got. Right, the Sauber people are like, okay, Hulk, we want to come pit you for slick tires early on when it was still too wet, and Hulkenberg's like, no. And he just zooms by, and then later they're like, okay, like, yeah, it wasn't the time now, you were right, but we should pit now. And then he zooms by again, and that lap is the lap of the safety car, and then they pit. It's like just a really interesting series of all the radio talk between him and his engineer, and like how Hulkenberg made the right call every time, despite the pit wall wanting him to do something else.
Yeah.
So just a blessed day for that guy.
I mean, some days you just have the feeling, right? I mean, that's how the good racers are. They just can tell. Like, no, the tires can handle it. No, the tires can't handle it.
I mean, it's the right call, especially in those kind of conditions, right, where the people at the pit wall aren't out there, and he is, and he's like, look, man, I can tell you if you put me on slicks, it's not going to work. And you saw what happened to the people who pitted early for slicks, right? They ended up dropping way the heck back because it was undrivable.
Yeah.
So some days you got it, and that's just gotta go with it when that's the case.
If you go with it and that's the case, you should email us.
Yeah, you can send that to Tron Legacy at... No, you can send that to podcast at wewergamers.com.
That
you can also find us on... you can find us on Facebook, find us on Blue Sky. Go check out our YouTube channel.
Tell us if you watch...
I was going to say, if you're also a Tron Legacy defender, stand up. There's dozens of us.
There are dozens. More people listen to that soundtrack than you think. You know what I mean?
Wisely, because that soundtrack rules.